Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie, and one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
This episode is brought to you by Coffee Mate. Coffee Mate is the world's biggest coffee lover because we love all the ways you enjoy. Wait. Coffee Mate can't love coffee more than me. I'm a foodie. I went to Kyoto just for a nitro matcha latte. What? Oh, I have to finish the ad. Coffee Mate, for the love of coffee.
We were not in a relationship.
What, did you have a physical relationship?
We did sleep together.
Okay,
on occasion.
In other words, throughout the time, like consistently, however consistent it was, but just like always, or no?
No, it wasn't always. In the beginning, the first 90 days was consecutive.
This is the plaintiff, Erica. She says she dated the defendant, and over the course of their relationship, she paid for all sorts of things for him. He promised over and over to pay her back, and when she asked him for the money, he began to fade away. The defendant turned out to be a real slickster. She's not going to allow him to just take her money and is suing him for the $2,277.45 she's owed. This is the defendant, John. He says he and the plaintiff really hit it off, even though he's 10 years older than she is. The plaintiff bought him things during their relationship, and he bought her things. None of the money she's suing him for was for a loan. These were all gifts. He spent and spent on the plaintiff and her son, like you normally do in a relationship, and now she's claiming she loaned him the money? No way. He's accused of taking advantage of a lover.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
The People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Erica, you are suing Mr. John for $2,277.45 in items that you say you bought for him and he was supposed to pay you back throughout the course of, almost 2 years, right?
Yes.
Talk to me and tell me what happened. How did you two meet?
I met him on a dating site.
Okay. And how long did you two date?
Roughly about 90 days before it wasn't going to work out.
Okay.
We both decided to keep it as friends.
Okay.
Talking on the phone, not going out. December 2020, I met John. We went out to the movies twice in December. He paid for that. Then in March, I went out and I purchased him 2 outfits and a pair of sneakers. That was a gift. We didn't go out again until last year, July, August, and September. He took us to the aquarium in July. August, he took us to a trampoline place in Jersey. September, he took us to the circus.
Who's us? You and who?
Me and my son.
Okay. How old's your son?
He's 6.
Okay, go on.
We were not in a relationship.
What, did you have a physical relationship?
We did sleep together.
Okay,
on occasion.
In other words, throughout the time, like consistently, however consistent it was, but just like always, or no?
No, it wasn't always. In the beginning, the first 90 days was consecutive.
So when's the first time you loan him money that he's supposed to pay you back?
In December.
Okay, you know you've included stuff that you bought him in March, right?
Yeah, I can correct that. I put everything as a whole.
Even the stuff that you yourself say were gifts and not loans?
No, what was a loan was the $600, the $100, and the $300.
What's $600?
I zelled him $600. The loan started for a trash pump.
Okay. So you loaned him $600 for a trash pump when?
Yes. In December. I have the paperwork.
What? Okay, but your lawsuit, because I didn't file the lawsuit, you did.
Yes, I did.
You're suing for the Nike sneakers, the
Yeah.
Nike switch. Are you taking that back now and saying now there's what?
I'm not taking it back. I'm not taking it back.
So you are suing for it.
I am suing for it.
And you want him to pay for it, but
I
you
want
just
him to
told me
pay
they
for
were
it.
gifts.
So you know what? I will say that as a gift. Yes, I will.
I'm just repeating what you said.
And you're absolutely right,
All
Your
right,
Honor.
so when is it that you loan him cash for him to do stuff with? That's when the pump comes up?
That's right.
All right, and how much money did you loan him?
I sent him $600 for a trash pump.
Okay, and then what else?
He spoke to me on the phone. He told me he was going to pay me back to add it to the list.
Did he ever pay you back anything?
No, he did not.
So why do you spend 2 years giving him money if he's not going to pay you back? I mean, according to you, you bought him the sneakers and the sweatsuit and the sweatpants, and he's supposed to pay you back, and he doesn't. Now you're saying, no, okay, that was a gift. What about the windshield sun visor, $21 you're suing for? Is that a gift or is that a loan?
He asked me to get it for him, and I got it for him.
And did he ever say he was going to pay you back?
No.
Okay, well then why are you suing him? Because you can only sue him for stuff he says he's going to pay you back for, which, not for gifts you buy him. Because, if I ask somebody to buy me a gift and they do, then it's a gift. That's it. They can't sue me for that. Or if I decide to buy somebody a gift, I can't then sue them when I don't like them anymore. So according to you, you loaned totally $1,000 to him, $600, which we've talked about for the pump, and then another $300 and $100. Tell me about the $300 and $100.
He didn't specify what the $300 was for.
Why'd you give it to him?
Because he asked me.
That's all it takes?
That's not all it takes. I trusted John.
Why, though? At that point, he hadn't paid back the $600.
The lump sum of money that was given out to him that he did borrow was last year it was in October, November, and December. So I had known him long enough, and he had not displayed any behavior that I couldn't trust him.
Except for that you keep loaning him money and he keeps not paying it back. Do you ever tell him when you want him to pay back?
We never established a certain date, no.
Okay, how long were you two seeing each other? I know you said 90 days for real, but then after that, how long were you two talking on the phone and then occasionally going out and then whatever?
The last day we went out was September 25th. Me, him, and my son, we went to the circus.
Okay.
I stopped talking to him March 16th of this year because I had originally filed the case in small claims form, and then we spoke again in June.
And what happened in June?
He emailed me the day before court and asked me if I could postpone it because it was his mother's birthday. He was going to be on a flight.
But as it turns out, what you did was go to Vegas, right?
Yes, ma'am. I did go to Vegas.
Is your mother in Vegas?
No. My family had. My mother wanted to go to Vegas for her birthday.
Oh, okay. So it
the
was a family thing? It wasn't just you and the boys in Vegas? And
No, ma'am.
All right, so you go to Vegas, and then when you come back, what happens?
I emailed her. She emailed me back. Then she called me. We started talking. First we had harsh words. Why you did this?
Who said that to who?
I'm not really remembering. I know we was talking over each other.
Yeah.
Till I changed the subject, that calmed everything down, and we got to talk. Then she explained to me, I don't want to sue. I didn't want to do this. She's aggressive type woman. She wants somebody to be submissive. That's why these things that were gifts in the beginning, the sweatsuit, as you were speaking about, and that was the first week that we was together.
Was she spending a lot of money on you?
We were spending money on each other. It wasn't a lot of money.
Yeah, but do you think she was trying to buy you?
Of course, that's because whoever she was with prior, this is how she controlled him.
By what? By...
purchasing things and, just to have him under her control.
Well, how does that... It sounds to me like it's the other way around. Like, how does that put somebody under your control when you're just spending money on them?
Because if she feels she's doing for you, then you must do what she said.
Did she want the relationship more than you did?
We was compatible because it's exciting because we are born on the same day, 10 years apart. So we was talking just off of that basis, and I liked her, you know. And I think because we are pretty much the same, we have the same type of mannerism on certain things. Where I'm an alpha male, she's an alpha female, and we started clashing. You know, she wanted me to be at her house, and I'm a busy man.
Okay.
So when things came and I wasn't doing what she wanted, that's when the lawsuit came. But then once we started talking again.
Oh, did you guys, when you say you started talking again, did you start going out again?
We was going out.
After Vegas?
No, not after Vegas. No, well, because it was like.
Did that lawsuit get dismissed?
No, she dropped
the first one. She dropped it?
That's why I was surprised that I got.
But when you started talking again, what were you doing besides talking? Nothing?
No.
So you're talking again and you're friends again?
We was cordial, but she wanted me to start seeing her again.
Okay.
And I wanted to keep it on a cordial friendship basis because I knew us being together was a toxic.
Okay, now, but what I'm trying to understand is then why did she drop it?
Because she wanted me to be back with her.
Why did you drop that first case?
He emailed me and asked me if I could postpone it.
Postpone is different from drop. Did you drop the case?
I did not drop it. I didn't show up to court because he asked me to postpone it.
Right, but did you postpone it or did you just not show up to court?
I did not show up.
Well, when you don't show up, they dismiss it, right?
Yes.
So that case ends up dismissed and then you file this case when?
August 8th, I believe I filed it.
And that trip for your mom was when?
Father's Day. What's that, June?
Right. And between June and August, are you two seeing each other at all?
No.
Okay.
We were talking.
Just call. He would call me. I would call him.
So if you're friendly and stuff, does the subject of the money come up again?
It always had came up. It started from December coming up. I just didn't pressure John. John told me that his business was slow with the oil, so I was just patient. Again,
I see a number of times when she texts you, and well, actually, let's be very specific here. Have all my things ready, John, so I can pick them up and leave. And I want $250 a week. You pay up cash balance of what you owe me. Let me run down the prices. And then you mention a bunch of prices. This is in January of 2022. And according to your text, on that day, what he owes you is $2,052. And your answer to her isn't, what are you talking about? Those were gifts. Your answer to her is, whatever you say. Let me know when you're downstairs.
Because she's argumentative.
Okay.
I mean, she came to my house. If I didn't want to be with her, she came to my house like pretty much on a stalker. She was sitting in front of my building with her son in the back seat for almost 30 hours. And this was during the time of me working. Just recently, prior to us coming here, I spoke to her, said that we was going here, keeping it cordial. I said, I'm going to the gym. I will call you when I finish the gym. 45 to an hour into my workout, she calls me. Oh, I thought your back was hurting. Would you? I said, I'm in the gym. I'll talk to you later. I get 17 phone calls back to back to back. I have to cut my phone off. Mind you, we are just talking. We are just cordial. We're not dating. Haven't seen her. And this is what it always was. So if I wasn't complying with her, the reason why she.
So what was your plan? You say here, not a problem. Every week I will sell you money. And she says, thank you. And you say, no need for any more conversation.
Because it was becoming a nuisance, Yana.
Okay. So
phone,
did you ever sell her any money?
I don't think so. I just wanted her to stop calling me, coming by my job. It was just becoming, posting up in.
What happened to the $250 yesterday, she says. I asked you, John, what happened to the $250? Are you supposed to be sell me weekly to pay me off? And then about...
They go on and on. All this her texts. That's me ignoring her. Because I didn't want to argue.
I see at some point she asked, can you be more precise? You've told me that you're going to mail money, sell money already and nothing. So it's $250 a week this week, starting what day? You say it will sometimes be less. It will sometimes be more. Could be any day. What kind of answer is that?
Yana, when you get fed up with the constant harassment, you'll say anything. I just wanted peace.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
Your teen requested a ride, but this time not from you. It's through their Uber teen account. You drive your teenager around, a lot, to their friend Jacob's house, their other friend Jake's house, to James's, to Jaden's, to Jalen's, to...
Mom? This is Jake's house, not Jacob's.
Now with an Uber teen account, your teen can request a ride under your supervision. They'll ride with a highly rated driver, and with live trip tracking, you'll follow along the whole ride to their friends' houses that all sound the same. Add your teen to your Uber account today. See app for details.
Bye, Mom.
You know she's like a dog with a bone with this. She's not going to let go.
So even when I try...
Right, so what's the point of telling her what you're saying, to appease her when she's just going to come right back and say, hey, you owe me the money?
I mean, she left it alone because she thought we was getting back into a relationship.
Well, so you're kicking a can down the road, but eventually...
You're right, and here I am today.
Yeah. I have two observations. Number one, I think that there's some merit to that, Erica, that, in this relationship, whatever it was or wasn't throughout all that time, at some point you just stop, you stop giving money unless the money's doing something for you. But if someone just keeps asking for money and you just keep giving to them, it sounds like you want something more from them, because that's the only reason to do it otherwise. And you're not a stupid woman. It's not that you think he's going to pay you back, because you know he's not going to pay you back. He's never paid you back. And according to him, he spent money on you too. And, he spent money on each other, and that you were very generous. But now he realizes that it was an attempt to control him and buy him. I think that's one thing I'd like to make an observation about. But the other thing I'd like to make an observation about is, if you feel that, then why do you keep hitting her up for money?
It wasn't hitting her up, Yana.
So what about the pump? Like the 600 of the pump and the 400? Why don't you return the 600 that you got for the pump if she bought the pump? How did you give him $600?
I Zelled it to him.
Do you have the Zelle proof?
I could pull it up on my phone with my
Is it starting to sound more familiar?
No, I'm not saying she didn't, but I know she bought the pump. Everything she did with the visor. Oh, I see you. Oh, you ain't got a visor in your car? Next thing you know, she's an Amazon queen. So, okay, I'm gonna get this.
That title's taken. I realize you're angry about it because looking back now, you feel like you were taken advantage of, and I get that. But I have to make a decision based on the testimony I'm hearing about whether, there was a clear understanding that you were going to get paid back for the money you were investing in this, and I'm sorry, I just kind of don't find it. I don't find it. Can I ask you, do you have any evidence between the two of you of any text where he asks you for money and says he's going to pay you back?
No, I did not.
Okay. Based on this evidence, I cannot find them to be legitimate loans at the time. It really just blends into a boyfriend-girlfriend thing, and I am finding in favor of the defendant.
Right there, please.
Thank you, Yana.
Have a good night.
So the plaintiff fails to get more than $2,000 from the defendant. The judge says, no way, she does not prevail. Erica, you heard the judge. I'm sure you're a little upset, but what are you thinking right now?
We'll talk later, but it's cool. He knows what's right. I'm not mad at him, and life goes on. It's all good.
Is it over between the two of you now?
It was never anything. We were more cordial as friends, and I don't have a problem. We would still remain friends. He would just never get a dime from me again.
All right, Erica, John's a defendant. I'm sure John's a little relieved right now. You don't have to give her any money, John. You have won. How do you feel about it?
I feel great that this situation is over with.
But you're still friendly. You can be friends with her, right?
Yeah. Erica's a nice lady, We just not compatible.
Thank you very much. Good luck and congratulations, okay?
Thank you.
Still enjoy your friendship with her.
All right, thank you.
Very good. What you think, Harvey?
Okay, so in this case, there were gifts. I mean, this was a relationship, and this is pretty common. You should know, however, that there is a presumption in the law when money goes from person A to person B. The presumption is that it's a loan, and you have to repay it. You can rebut that presumption with evidence, but going in, it's a loan. In this case, ultimately, the presumption was rebutted.
Judges, what's something about being a judge that you'd like people to understand? Or what's your favorite thing about being a judge?
Okay, something I'd like them to understand is
what?
That it's really hard.
Right.
Even if we make it look easy,
right.
It's really hard.
Right.
And
everything's
very crystal clear and black and white to each of the litigants, but there's these varied shades of gray when you're actually sitting there trying to figure out.
First time you sit down and hear a case in the civil setting, it's like, well, you hear the attorney or the plaintiff, whoever it is on one side, present their case, and you're like, wow, this guy can't lose, and then you go to the defense, and oh my God.
Okay, wait a second. Why are these people always fighting and putting me in the middle? Oh yeah, that's my job.
So,
but it's hard. Even if judges look arrogant or in control or whatever else it is, there's a lot of work that goes into trying to get to the right decision.
I agree. That is something that people should know about being a judge, which is other than that we're all naked under the robe. It's a big secret. We can't really let anybody know. No.
We all just wink at each other.
Exactly.
And then the thing I love the most is being able to right a wrong. I mean, that's just golden.
Yeah, you're right.
Because we spend most of our lives looking at situations and getting mad that someone's taking advantage of somebody else and
you know
getting
what,
upset. We can actually do something about it.
Not all the time, because
not all the
law has all these boundaries that kind of constrain you about what you can do. You can't just wave a magic wand and go, oh, you know what, I'm going to give you this. Or
I like you, I don't like you. No, that's not how it works. There's
small little
path,
degrees and parameters within which one party's going to prevail and maybe the other party won't, but it's not quite...
but it's kind of nice to dispense justice.
Yeah.
Right.
It really is.
This is the plaintiff, Jason Cooley. He says the defendant was his tenant, and the guy flooded the place, so he didn't renew his lease. The louse then snuck out in the middle of the night. He trashed the place, and it took him close to 2 months to even get estimates to fix it back up again. This defendant needs to be taught a lesson, and that's why he's suing him in court for the $2,345.94 he says he's owed. This is the defendant, Bradley Bowers. He says the plaintiff's making up a bogus set of damages. He already stole his security deposit and doesn't understand what the guy's beef is because he was a model tenant. Oh, him? No way. He's accused of pulling a disappearing act. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $541 for money he's still owed.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Sergeant and Mr. Smith, you're gonna love this house.
Bunk beds in a closet?
There's no field manual for finding the right home. But when you do, USAA Homeowners Insurance can help protect it the right way. Restrictions apply.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says the defendant was his tenant and one day flooded the place, escaped during the night, and he owes money to the plaintiff. But the defendant says the plaintiff is making all of these damages up, and he was in fact a model tenant. It's the case of Waterworld.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. Cooley, you are suing your former tenant for $2,464.42 in damages that you say he left behind, and you are counterclaiming the remainder of your security deposit that you feel you have a right to get, Mr. Bowers. Let me start with you, Mr. Cooley. How long did Mr. Bowers live there?
So he was a tenant of ours for 2 years.
Okay, and then did you decide you didn't want him there anymore, or he decided he was moving on?
So at the end of our lease, there were a few text messages that went back and forth, and he expressed that he may be purchasing a home, and then he said he would be open to continuing his lease. However, towards the end of the lease, he realized that he was ready to move on.
Okay, so he moves on, and was it a surprise the way he left the place?
The way he left the place, it was a surprise. For the last 20 years, we've had the landlord-tenant relationship with a lot of our people that have come and gone. And they always seem to leave the place in pristine condition. And this was the first one in my 20 years that I've been overseeing with my mom that we walked in and we were just surprised by what
was it you saw?
So for me, I didn't see anything. I live in California, and I was privy to only the photos 3 days after he moved out.
All right. Mr. Bowers, can you tell me what I'm looking at on the wall there?
I don't recall that, no.
Okay. Did you take pictures when you left the place?
I did, but it was months ago, and I don't currently have them again.
Well, what'd you take the pictures for?
Oh, because I expected to have the inspection right away.
Right, but you didn't, so therefore you took pictures, right? And the purpose of the pictures is to document how you left the place, right?
Yeah.
Because you wanted a walkthrough and you weren't getting a walkthrough, right? So why get rid of those pictures?
Technical ineptitude.
Okay, that I can accept. That I am familiar with, that I have engaged in. I'm fine with that. But you understand that of course, you would have preferred to have kept the pictures. All right,
yeah,
so.
I would have preferred.
All right, now, this is a picture of stuff he left behind. What is this a picture of, Mr. Cooley?
So that's the outside deck, and that is access to the entrance and exit of one of our doors. And if you scroll to a few other photos, there were about 15 to 20 bags of garbage that had been sitting on the deck, and that's a wood deck.
Okay, Mr. Bowers, how long was this garbage on the deck?
So the deck damage was there for 1.5 years, just so we're clear. I had told the landlord, and the painters who had come to paint had told the landlord that the wood was rotten.
How did you tell the landlord that? Did you tell them by email or text?
Face to face. She lives downstairs.
Never do that. Never do that. You want a record of your complaint so you don't get blamed for it later. You always text or email and then save it. Don't get rid of it. Save the text or email. That's you want everything to be on the up and recorded and documented. Okay? All right. So, but the bags I'm looking at here, where did those bags come from?
I did leave the stuff. I admitted to leaving the stuff. On the 27th, when I was trying to get them to do the walkthrough, I had already contacted a company to come do a trash removal, but then they refused to do the walkthrough.
Who's they?
To get back in touch with me. The landlord who lives downstairs, I tried to talk to her, and she ignored me.
What do you mean by she ignored you? What do you mean by she
wouldn't answer the door. She wouldn't answer.
How do you know she was in there?
I could hear her breathing. I could hear her. She said hello, and then she just didn't say anything else.
Okay. All right. So then out of frustration, then you left all this garbage?
Well, I couldn't get my security deposit back, and so I was like, well, it's $180.
Well, hold on. You're moving out. When you leave the garbage, you have no idea if you're getting your security deposit back, do you? Because you're not supposed to get the security deposit as you're walking out the door. They have a chance to inspect for 30, and they don't have to give it back to you until 30 days. It's not like an exit tax. That's not how it works.
No, you're right, Your Honor. But this is just the culmination of 2 years of them just being these kind of people.
How so?
I don't know how to say it, but without coming off badly, but she was about the rudest person I've ever met in my life. Anytime I had the mispleasure of speaking to her, she would call me fat or stupid or make fun of the fact that I hadn't gotten married yet or something along those lines of a personal attack.
Did she not get along with you? Like, why would she? Did she not like you?
I tried to avoid her like the plague.
Did you guys have a problem?
No, she just was mean to me. I don't know why. I mean, I was never once, not 1 second late on the rent. I never caused any nuisances. I wasn't loud in any manner. I kept the place spotless on the outside. Like, she never had to worry about any kind of dirt or anything. But she just didn't like me. I don't know why.
Oh, good Lord. What is this? What's this?
So there's this some kind of linoleum over the plywood. And that was just where my couch was, and it did that damage to linoleum. So I wasn't jumping on the couch or anything. I don't understand how that kind of damage, it just...
Yeah, but how do you expect that you're not going to be responsible for that damage? If your couch did it, how do you expect that you're not going to be responsible for that damage?
My assumption was it was normal wear and tear.
That's not normal wear and tear. Come on. You know what normal wear and tear is? And it's normal. It's not damage. There's either damage or there's normal wear and tear. Normal wear and tear just means that something is used. It's like the normal stuff but that's not normal. That's because of the couch and whether when you were moving it or whatever, that caused that damage. Also, what's this here? Is that bacon?
That's my cleaning company not doing a good job. That's my fault.
Okay, all right. Your cleaning company didn't do any job
that's on my fault.
Right, but I don't understand. Did you pay them? Weren't you there when they were cleaning? Didn't you inspect it before you paid them?
I did, but I didn't check the fridge, if I'm honest. I obviously didn't. I made a mistake on that.
Wow, because that had a smell. What is this a picture of? The storm door. What is this a picture of, Mr. Cooley?
Yeah, there's no handle on the storm door.
What happened to that, Mr.
Somehow
Bowers?
it got ripped off.
It was broke when I moved in.
It was broke when you move in? Do you have any proof of that?
my word.
I always tell people that when you move into a new apartment, take your phone out of your pocket or your purse and take a picture of each thing that is wrong with it and email it to the landlord. And then keep the email so you can show, listen, I'm not complaining, or I'm complaining about this, this, and this, but these I don't care about. I just don't want to get blamed for it. Whatever it is, to document it. Is there a written lease in this case, Mr. Cooley?
There is.
Did you submit it into evidence?
I did.
Give me one moment and let's see. Does it say anything about I acknowledge and I'm receiving it in good condition?
There is an initial 2-page report of initial walkthrough signed by Mr. Bowers.
And does it say anything about the storm door being broken?
It does not.
All right, let's take a look at it.
Typically what we do when we rent out is we give the tenant the 2 pages. They're able to go through the property.
Is this your signature, Mr. Bowers?
I did sign it, yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, if you signed it, then you have adopted this whether you wrote it or not. Where here do you mention anything about the door?
I did not, Your Honor. I didn't
Okay,
write it
well,
down.
so that's not going to fly. And then let's go back to the other pictures we were looking at. This is a picture of the broken toilet seat. What's your response to that, Mr. Bowers?
I mean, considering I should have taken it off because there was no toilet seat when I moved in. I don't know why I left it.
If there was no toilet seat when you moved in, why wouldn't you have marked that on the condition of the place?
Because when we did really, it's just me not being smart enough to realize what's going to happen.
But it's not a matter of smart. The whole point of those 2 pages is for you to say what's wrong with the place. And I'm not buying it because there's other places where it says something is scratched on top, or, like there's actual notations about something else. It's not like you just said, okay, let me just sign it in blank. Some things are good and some things were noted. This broken toilet seat is not noted. Mr. Cooley, what else are you suing for?
I had to replace the blinds. I had to replace the toilet seat. We had to replace the floor.
Okay, that was flooring that had been installed in 2019. And when did Mr. Bowers move in?
March 2020.
Yeah, it had been installed 4 months before you moved in. And that's the condition you left in. I don't see how you think that it's not going to be on you, that it's ruined and has to be redone. Why would it be on them? All right.
Well, Your Honor, if you put a paper towel on the floor and I stand on it and it rips, am I responsible for the paper towel?
No, but you're going to have to prove to me that it was a paper towel and not vinyl flooring. I realize there's flooring and there's flooring, but that's a pretty bad damage, It was
literally just a couch. I wasn't tap dancing on the couch.
All right, let me ask you a question, Mr. Cooley. When did you finally send word to Mr. Bowers that he was not going to get his security deposit back?
On May 13th.
And when did Mr. Bowers move out?
He was supposed to move out March 31st, 2022. And when we had the final walkthrough and all the text messages back from Mr. Bowers, he said he was going to set it up. And Mr. Bowers never contacted us, and he still has our keys. We have to get the house rekeyed.
Did you contact him and ask him if he moved out?
No.
No. All right. Did he tell you I'm moved out in a text?
No.
Okay. And when he moves out, why is it that much later that you finally send notice? Because the law requires you to do something in 30 days, right?
Sure.
Did you know that then, or you learned that after you had this problem?
No, we know it's 30 days. The challenge for us was getting all the estimates and getting all the stuff hauled away. And finally, when the estimates started to come in, we realized it a little bit too late.
Right. Because 30 days should be enough to get the estimates. That's what the law gives you. And then after that, what does that state, which is the state of New Hampshire, do? Have you looked at the law? Do you know, or I'll tell you?
Your Honor, I don't.
Okay. All right. So it punishes the landlord when the landlord doesn't send notice in the 30 days. And it says, well, now you got to return double the security deposit. But it does give the court, and every state is different. Some states say, and tough, that's it. Damn it, I don't care if there's damages, they don't get anything. New Hampshire's not one of those states. And then other states say, well, you can give damages, but they would get deducted from double the security deposit. Other states say, there's all kinds of different things. So when you're going to be a landlord, you really have to know the landlord-tenant statute will be, 5 pages in every state, 10 pages maybe. print out the 10 pages and memorize them, get to know them, because there's little tricks and pitfalls that will end up nailing you as the landlord.
Welcome back to the People's Court. So the question, did the landlord follow the law, or is he the one who is actually owed money? Let's go back into the courtroom and find out.
Mr. Bowers, how much was your security deposit?
$750.
Okay, so even if I were to, you didn't even ask for this, but let's say I punished them for not making the 30-day rule and that I doubled your security deposit at $1,500. The floors alone were $1,500. Okay, so there's a bunch of damage here that needs to be addressed. I mean, why would you think that, I'm going to see, well, let me be fair. They sued you and then you counterclaimed for the rest of it. You didn't have the hubris to try to go to court first to get your security deposit. You're just throwing that in so that it can all be heard at once and you can have a little leverage. But I don't see, you certainly would not get any of that $750 back. So that takes care of your counterclaim pretty quickly. And then what we need to do is look at the damage, which I am looking at. The only thing, you have zero evidence, Mr. Cooley, that because you haven't brought me your mother or any pictures or any evidence at all that it was kept that way the whole time. I don't see anything that you can show to prove that the tenant is responsible for the wood rotting rather than the wood just rotted. So you're not going to get the deck repair. So that leaves us with damages, $3,214.42. in damages, minus the $550 of the deck repair is $2,664.42. If you had responded within the 30 days, I would then deduct just the $750. But your state requires me to double the $750 to punish you for not answering within the 30 days, okay? It doesn't matter that it's challenging, you still only have 30 days. And it can get done. Everybody can get estimates in 30 days. That's plenty of time to do it. So I have to deduct $1,500 from that $2,664.52. And that leaves $1,164.42 in damages that I wholeheartedly agree with you he should have to pay for. In fact, I agree that he should have to pay for all of it. But because you missed the deadline, I have no choice but to do what I say I did. And when I say all of it but the deck repair. So the net then is a judgment in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $1,164.42 and $0 on the counterclaim.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So the plaintiff prevails to the tune of $1,164. He would have gotten more had he acted faster, but he delayed over 30 days, and that cost him $1,500. So, Mr. Bowers, let me find out what you have to say about this. You don't get anything on your countersuit, and you owe the plaintiff another $1,164. What are you thinking?
It's my fault for not having proper documentation. I should know better than to trust people.
Well, you were kind of lackadaisical. You signed documents where you could have pointed out things that were wrong, like on that screen door, and you didn't point that out. You made a lot of mistakes, you know?
Yeah, I think the moral of the story is don't trust people. Get the evidence.
Well, not that. Try and be more careful in what you're doing, too, not just don't trust people. I don't know. They prevailed here. The judge found in their behalf. So saying don't trust people doesn't work. Mr. Cooley, you okay with this? You sorry you didn't act sooner?
I am. One of my favorite sayings from an old baseball coach of mine, he who hesitates is lost. And unfortunately, the hesitation cost us the additional $750.
You know, it's hard to do what you're doing when you're in California and your mother and the property are on the East Coast. It's kind of tough, isn't it?
It is. It allows me to travel back and forth for several reasons. One, to help out with the property, and two, to see family.
Yeah. All right. A good write-off. All right, good enough. Well, that's what you get, and that'll do it for this case. Thank you very much, and congratulations. All right. Harvey?
Doug, you should know these laws change from state to state. There are some states where if a landlord violates the security deposit return law, they have to pay 2 times what was wrongfully withheld. In some cases, they have to pay 3 times. So you should look it up.
My house sits right beside a field that is farmed. They come very close to my property line. They plow and spray chemicals that have caused 7 of my trees to die. and they hit my electric transformer box. Can I sue them for damaging my property?
You could sue if your neighbor killed 7 of your trees. Yes, you could bring claims for negligence, trespass, maybe nuisance for interfering with your quiet enjoyment of your property, etc. Would you succeed here? I think you'd have to have some compelling proof that the guy did it. I mean, how do you know that he killed them? Do you have some sort of scientific chemical analysis of the trees or the soil to show that...
Do a tree autopsy.
Right, a tree autopsy, right? Or maybe you put up a camera or something to show that they're doing it.
Yeah,
you can't
that's
just say,
really the thing to do. The thing to do is to put up one of those Ring cameras. They're not that expensive. Something. And videotape them coming and spraying and whatever else, because you're going to have to prove that they killed your trees, and that's, you can't just go into court and say it. You got to prove it.
A lot of things can kill a tree.
And what do you think they're referring to when they say electric transformer?
You know, I always think of electric transformer boxes as something that belongs to the power company.
To the power company.
But you know, I mean, maybe this is one that he has, a transformer on his property. I don't know what kind of.
But yeah, if you can prove that they did damage to your property, whether it's that the stuff that they did killed your trees, or that they literally banged into your transformer, then yes, you can sue, but you're going to have to have the proof. So you either have to have witnesses, or you have to have a video camera going until you get the evidence, and then go to court.
And I don't know how else you stop this. I mean, what would you do? Put up a fence that goes down into the ground 3 feet deep or something? Or that's an opaque fence that you can't get through. How would you ever stop it? The guy's just going to keep killing his trees.
Right, but you know, that's going to be, it is going to be something that's very hard to prove, and especially if 7 of the trees on your property have died. Where are they on your property?
Right.
Right.